In Job chapter 42, 1 through 6, Job came to realize what his problem was. He wasn't in trouble and having all these problems because of sin or anything like that. Even though his friends and his wife, said all kinds of ridiculous and stupid things. Job remained faithful throughout the whole ordeal. But he still had questions. He kept questioning God about why this was happening. Why was this happening? Why? And for the most part, you and I can understand that. We like to know why something is happening. And Job had no idea, no clue. And he finally came to realize this. And he says to God in verse 1, I know that you could do anything and no plan of yours can be thwarted. So he's admitting that God can do whatever he wants. It's up to him and him alone. And if he has a plan, nothing can stop it. So Job's friends, Job couldn't stop it. Even Satan really was a part of this plan. And he lost, of course, the battle in all of this. And he goes on and says, you asked, who is this who conceals my counsel with ignorance? Surely I spoke about things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. You see, Job realizes that what he was asking for was, in one sense, none of his business. He thought he had to have answers. And God basically was saying, no, I can do what I want. You need to be faithful. And that was actually goes along with what Satan, because Satan was saying, okay, take away the stuff, Job's going to get mad, he's going to turn against you. And if you really have true faith, if you could really trust God, sometimes you're willing to say, okay, I don't have to know all the details. I don't have to know why this is happening. I'm just willing to let God be God, knowing that whatever he's doing is going to be ultimately for his good. And that's the key. Everything that God does is ultimately going to be for his good. Now, as children of God, we know that no matter what happens in this lifetime, ultimately we are going to have good. It's going to be good for us. So, we don't have to worry about that either. So Job is really to the point in his relationship with God where he understands that I don't need to know. I asked about things too wonderful for me to know. You see, God lives on a different level than we do. God's level is so far above us. His understanding is so far above us. His, desires and everything, his, workings of everything is so far above us. We could never in a million years understand it. And even if we started to get all the details, it'd be too much for us. We couldn't deal with it. And so he said, you said, listen now, and I will speak. When I question you, will inform me. I had heard rumors about you, but now my eyes have seen you. You see, God appeared to Job. And so Job said, okay, I've seen you. For you and I, we're not going to see God physically. We're going to get a glimpse of God through something that's going on in our life. Maybe somebody does something special for us. We get a glimpse of God. We see God through the scriptures and things like that. But Job's saying, okay, now I've seen you. Therefore, I take back my words and repent in dust and ashes. Job's saying, I'm repenting of what I said. I don't need to know. I've asked way too many questions. I've made too many demands. It's over. I'm going to repent. And it says he repented in dust and ashes, as if he'd been committed a terrible sin. Job understood. And we need to understand that we don't always know the details of why God is doing something. We may be going through good times, we may be going through bad times, but we don't understand all the details and everything that God is doing. That's why we have to live by faith at times, believing that God is doing what's best. Maybe it doesn't feel like it's best for us, but it's going to be definitely best for His overall plan in His kingdom. So I would encourage you today to look at your situation, look at your attitude about your situation. How am I doing? Am I really trusting God? And then if you're not trusting God, and if you're asking too many questions and you're not willing to accept that God knows what He's doing, repent of that like Job did. If you've been encouraged or anything by this message, please like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to leave comments or whatever. Let me know what you think. Is there something I missed or whatever? You can, leave any kind of comments, and may God always bless you.